Hello traders, this is Alex with the StockMatrix program. Let's dive right in here. This is the kind of the standard intro, the X account, kind of goes through the trades, a few of my old roots in the commodities, post some different things. But mainly, if we have any new trades like this one that we had on July 1st, Lynn flipped from being puts to now calls or being short to now long. So anyway, that was posted on there, and we'll go through that here in a second. Let's move to the portfolio, and you can see that we're at about 52,000, so we're about 33%, right, up from our initial investment, 150 grand. We've taken off $20,478 of actual profit, including the losses. So that's total what we've taken off. 85 trades. Again, I put $1 per trade, so I know how many trades, plus the 17 that are on there, right? So, we've had 60, I guess, 2 trades that have been taken off. So again, we started this thing with a major, it was on a low, and I had to go with the trend on January 6th. So this is kind of our anniversary, a bi-anniversary, a 6-month anniversary of when we started this thing on January 6th, since we have a holiday today, unless there's a few new trades. But I did put together a little profit loss on individual, each one of these stocks, just to get a good look at it. Let's pulling up the actual stats that I individually did. You can kind of show, I broke it down into, calls and puts, because a lot of people don't believe in buying puts, I guess. Again, I'm trying to prove to you, the options do work, right? Again, that's why I'm going through all this basically at no charge. And I do appreciate the people that have bought me a coffee. It does help. Okay, this is the total number of trades, again, 68. We've had, again, these are all closed positions. So 20,478. We've made $8,751 from the calls. Again, taken off the actual profitable ones and losses, and 11,000. Now you can see Tesla was a big winner on the call side, and Meta was big on the put side. Now, of course, we had kind of a V bottom in there, and now we've got pretty good profits also on this. I don't know. Yeah, this kind of little. This is I took actual on this bar chart format. You can click this button here, and it'll download to an Excel spreadsheet, and that's how I broke it down. Because otherwise I'd have to write it down or put it into a spreadsheet every time. Again, that's not my point. I'm not trying to be exactly precise. Do the best I can. So, but anyway, that's how you can use this bar chart to your advantage, right? I mean, I think you get one free portfolio, and then you have to pay. So, and that's pretty cheap otherwise. All right, let's move on now to the actual. Here's our statistical page on the StockMatrix program on the 17 select stocks. We do have some timing. One came in yesterday on Coke, and of course the next one isn't until the middle of the month. So we do have these. They're pretty important. Again, we have a 4th of July holiday, Independence Day, so kind of a natural timing anyway. So we just came off the longest day of the year, and now we're losing about 4 minutes of daylight every day. So again, till we reach the minimum equinox, which is on December 21st. Kind of important to me. Now, again, I've studied all that stuff pretty good detail. So we're kind of going to be coming into the middle of this thing. Here's the trades. Again, the only one that kind of wasn't recent, but July 1st we did the Lynn, and you can see here that if we took everything off right now, we'd be up 45 grand, right? So now we got another 6 months to go on this program. Thought about quitting it now. Don't have a lot of followers. A lot of people don't like the buttons. Hit the buttons, and YouTube is pushing me back. So because of that, I really don't care. It's more of a history thing for me. I'm a school teacher at heart, but I love teaching people how to use these options because I think it helps, man. Again, we got basically 407. If we had bought 100 shares of all these stocks, it's $471,000 of actual money you'd have to have without a margin account to put in there and trade this stuff on 100 shares. Now we're doing it for a lot less because again we have the options. So again, and percentage-wise, I mean. We got 30 grand, $35,000 worth of option total calls and puts, and whatever. Just so again, it works. That's all I can say. I'm going to keep going and prove it to you till the end of the time limit. But we did flip. This was negative, and now we're positive with this trade flipping. So we're not -1 now. We're at 1. The short-term trend was at 7. Let's go to my cheat sheet here, and we did make a new all-time high. I believe it was back in December prior to the program. What was it? 471,217. So about 3 grand we popped it out. So this was the, again, I don't push this every time, so it might have been something different than that. But again, you can kind of, it's kind of important, right? I mean, we went from a 5 now to 9, now to 7 on the short term, and we went from negative now positive. So it's just kind of one of those things that I keep track of as an index, right? This is an index of my stuff, the ones that I picked. Now we still have uh, long term, we're short 8, so we got 8 puts on, and we're still making money, even though some of those are losses. So, but again, that's kind of nice and it's kind of comforting, right? That basically spreading this total portfolio. So, if God forbid, some 9/11 incident occurs again, I was around for that. Markets were shut down for 4 days, man. Caused chaos. So, again, if that happened, everything went down. I mean, it was a massive hit. People got short-term memories, but that's why the charts definitely help. Okay, let's go to the actual StockMatrix charts. Since there wasn't a very big change, I'll kind of flip through these pretty quick. We only had Lynn flipped from puts to calls, so basically it's just showing where we pushed the stops. And some of them, we kept the stop the same, like Nvidia here. We were here, now we're here, and next week it'll go to here, next moon period. So again, we chart it by the time frame of the quarter moons and the square 9 for price. That's the matrix part of it. And here I'm going to flip these. I'm going to have to pause it every time, but you can keep these, write these down, maybe screenshot it if you want. And I've done that in the past on the full thing, so you can go back and review these. But anyway, new highs, closed to new highs 2 times in a row. Nvidia's not a weak stick anymore. It's, again, the shiner into this AI movement. Next up is Meta. Push the stops up a little bit. Next week it'll stay the same, or next moon period. We did pop a new high and did not close a new highs. A little concerning. A little trap action on the moons. This is halfway in between the 2 solar eclipses. And Coke, let me switch. Now moving to Coke, you got the stop stayed up here. So again, I could see this one knocking it out. It's been kind of a congestional pattern. The diamond pattern that I preached about was a dud. So again, I think every week that stands by and sits in the sideways action will, once we get through it, up or down, it probably won't get back through it again. That'll become support or resistance. This is the 2 eclipses, so it makes sense. The previous and the one before, that's offering some support and resistance, right? So it makes sense a little bit. You can see here too that as we get into midsummer, July, it only has a couple of actual annuals. August has a few more, so it has 4. So again, August will be pretty important into the Labor Day event. Microsoft, the bull of the bulls, just keeps going. But we did close lower. So right now at about 7:49 in the morning on July 3rd, the markets are not open yet. So the stop got pushed to here. This is a big period, right? Some fundamental adjustment in Microsoft pricing, I think. So it should be tough for the market to fly through this back down. This is the 1-to-1 coming up, so we'll be support on a longer term break. Amazon, just kind of there, a little creeper. It did finally break through the 1-to-1 trend line, kind of had a soft close yesterday. Today's July 3rd, so yeah, July 2nd, and it kind of had a little softer close. Stops are down here, which I like, makes sense to me. So just kind of a nice slow grinder to the upside. AAPL, Apple, kind of a dog with fleas, but it did have a good week. The system is long, so no matter what, I'm not a big Apple fan. So, but we are, we got resistance. 2 solar eclipses up in here, a 1-to-1 coming down. So definitely, this area is going to be tough for it to shoot right through. If Tesla comes out with a phone, I think Apple's a little overvalued I don't like Apple, so it's just my opinion. Tesla, TSLA, you can see that we're kind of in a coiling pattern, which was topped off by this 1-to-1 trend line. So we're kind of, 1 quarter moon over by 1 square 9 down is this 1-to-1, the red dotted line, and of course up is this one from the lows. So anyway, you can see it kind of caused this triangular pattern. The solar eclipses are down here, which I think if we bust that would be support. So it would kind of intrigue me if it would do that. Lin, this is the trade that we put on July 1st. You can see it's been spinning, powered up, did have a pretty strong close. I believe this is a hydrogen play. I could be wrong. Again, fundamentals aren't my forte, really irrelevant in the technical world. But we're so close to highs, I got to assume it's possible that we're going to pop them out. Why leave it when you have Microsoft, Nvidia, other ones making new highs? So anytime I see anything close to highs, I assume we're going to pop out those highs. ED is our next one. Again, just kind of following this downtrend. Now, this was the star when Nvidia and Meta were making lows on April 7th. this made its high. So again, it makes sense that we're down here acting weak. You know, the bull turned into the bear, or the safe play turned into an easy sell kind of thing. Makes sense a little bit. Adobe, the Gapper, Marty, old company, kind of a Doge problem, I think, in this bear trend. I think we've got a lot of government contracts that we don't even use Adobe for, but yet we're paying for it. I mean, it's a $400 stock, man. I mean, it's not cheap. So obviously they're getting revenue from a lot of stuff. I don't pay for Adobe. I don't know about you. Now, we might pay it when you buy a new computer, but I do use it through the word processing that I have. I can transfer it into Adobe. So again, I don't know quite what it's all about. Makes sense though that it's in a little bit of a quandary. Stops got moved down a niche, which don't make sense to me. I'd rather keep stops up here personally. But next moon period, it'll be a pretty good significant drop, which will be needed in a protection and basically a break even, since that's where we got in. IBM, the next one up, and we did raise the stop significantly on this one from here to here. Next moon period to be here, right? Again, a bull trend for sure. It's been kind of a slow slog for new highs, new all-time highs, and it just kind of creeps and then backs off, creeps and backs off, which we'll notice here in the daily charts, but just kind of a slogger, but definitely a bull trend in the making, and makes sense. It was late to the AI world, and you knew they had to be working on something big, so IBM makes a lot of sense to me in this version of AI that we have. Next one up is Bank of Magellan, BK. A bull, really. I mean, I'm surprised. This was kind of one of the safe plays, but it's really been a nice, slow bank stock, um, New York bank stock. So again, I kind of like it. Just the chart itself, we had a good close, quite a bit higher close than the previous moon period in this outside, which you know I hate. We had a double outside, which spun us into a trade, but a double outside event, which is sideways, right? Not bullish, not bearish. Some people get too wound up on outside events. I'd rather see a gap to go with than an outside event. Procter and Gamble, they are a chart that's just a slop. They've been negatively in the news, which again, I don't care, right? I like volatility, but this is more volatile for trading, right? Not a long-term option play like mine. I'm going to switch over to that. I want to take a look at the Bank of America, Procter and Gamble on the trades that we did have. Hang with me. Yeah, here's the trades that we've had with the calls and puts, and you can see it's a loser. The chop has hurt us. Now, guys who are trading it 5 days, 6 days, 10 days in, 10 days out, 7 days, they're the ones making money on this. They're banking it. I am not. It's been a loser, about $2,000. Not terrible, but again, just a waste. Hasn't gone anywhere. All right, let's go back. Okay, you can see the stop got moved down, so we're still at a loser. The one-to-one is definitely in play. It kind of pushed through it, so there's actually another one up here. So we could get, here, I think probably, I guess the highs for this week, this moon period, would be around 165-ish, which would stop us back long. Again, the thing is, if we can get above these two solar, if we can get above these two solar eclipses here, this one and this one, if we can get above that and break a swing or something, then this becomes a bottom, a long-term bottom, by the way. Now, if it busts through the back end, then this becomes terrible resistance. I could not be a buyer of Procter & Gamble for quite a few years, probably. Here's JPM. Stops got moved by a tick. Not a big deal, but again, new highs, closing in new highs, acting bullish. The diamond is tough to fight. It did have some severe drop in after the high events that did occur, so it definitely gave you some long-term buying opportunities for those that were waiting patiently. COIN, Coinbase, it's definitely kind of had a average close here. We didn't close lower, didn't close higher. We closed at the same price level. So not negative, not positive, but we did close in new highs 2 periods in a row, so that leaves a positive taste in my mouth. Stops didn't change much, but next moon period or 2 from now, we'll finally move it up to here, right? That's where we actually can lock in a profit. So until then, okay, let's move to the daily charts. You can see this is NVIDIA. We've got 66. Most of them made lows on the 7th. And now 66, the sequence of 66, which is the matrix sequence, is July 14th. Some of them made it the 8th, so I believe there's a few, maybe one that was on the 9th. But you can see I had a one-day break on a bull market. That's all you get, and sometimes intraday only, right? So we've had some gaps that held. This is mathematics. So again, everything looks pretty good on the video. Moving on to Meta, popped that high out, and then back down we went. Again, don't buy strength in these markets. If you wait patiently, you will get a break. Hopefully at a better level, but you can see just kind of holding trend. I want to see, we've been breaking this trend line every time we can get it, so I assume we'll break it again. and that's probably your buying opportunity. We broke it once, twice, three times. So now maybe it'll be support. I don't know. I mean, the trend is up by a 2-day break, right? So now gap down today would be a little ugly. Uh, Again, we're at about 8:02 now, so the markets are still closed. And you can see we have some timing on the Coke. Again, from this low on the 6th, with the holiday, I'll be putting it in today. This low was the 7th, and January 6th was this 7th was this low as well. So the 7th, 6th have been pretty key in this market, and the 22nd was the all-time high, or yeah, all-time high on Coke. So again, pretty important as well into the future here. Going to Google, just a chopper, kind of the slog of the big guns. You can see we're probably a little beyond halfway, probably 62%. Let me just look. I'm not guessing. Here's 62% right here. So yeah, just under 62, halfway back. We've been kind of fighting, so pretty key there for Goog. Moving on to Microsoft, the bull of the bulls. This huge gap never has been tested, which will be support on a longer term break for sure. I mean, sometime it's going to check it out. I don't know when, but right now, the best you can hope for if you're trying to buy the dip is probably a break back to these old highs, right? This where this dotted line is. Now we do have some timing that came in the 2nd, which was yesterday. So, and that was this low. So again, a big event. We had a couple annulars to pop the high. You know, we got timing here. A lot of stuff came in. So a gap down would be negative, and I would go with that. Now again, it might be a dip, but I would be a little patient and just taking a gander. Again, there's a lot of stocks to trade. I don't know about buying this one just because I had a 2-day break, and because I haven't been in there, I got to buy the break. Yeah, okay. I maybe would wait for a little longer term break, at least back to these old highs at minimum. Amazon, a pump, but just a chunker. It's just not. It's not. It had this gap. At least went halfway. Tried to fill it. Didn't quite. Again, kind of running long in the tooth for that bull for not making new highs. It's a little concerning to me. Here's Apple, the slog. You can see this trend line is pretty key up here. Timing for sure. I got to update some of these, but 66 off that low, which was the 8th, not the 7th. It's July 15th. So that's my kind of zone I'm looking for. Now, 66 days from the solar eclipse, which is the matrix, is completed today. So again, all this, part of the reason why I'm doing this video, all these 66 days are key, but from the solar completes the matrix. Now, it's a bearish one so far. Maybe today it'll get up there, and that will be the resistance, is that solar eclipse close. Now, this is actual. Oh no, I don't know why I've got that one there. Let's get rid of it. Here's the actual. Oh, that was the solar eclipse close. So this is the key area, which is it is 217.90 is a solar eclipse close. Now it happened to be on the weekend, so the next, I use always kind of the Friday, but if it was a Monday, it'd been 222.13 the next close. So anywhere in here is going to be resistance, and it's fighting this trend line as well. So pretty key stuff on Apple. I think I'm an anti-bull on Apple because everybody's got it in their portfolio. Here's Tesla, kind of the newer market, right? So you can see that it started back in the day, but man, it's with Elon in the forefront. I like Elon because he causes controversy. Whether you like him or not doesn't matter to me. I just like the volatility that he creates. So again, you get breaks like this without him saying anything, we probably wouldn't do that. We'd probably be a lot more flat. I like the volatility that Trump, Elon, the Diamond, all those guys put into the market. Now here's the Lin, the one trade that we did here a few days back. Again, we're so close to the highs. I cannot imagine it won't pop those out. That's my guess. Now the system don't care about that, right? The matrix don't care. The StockMatrix, if it breaks the line, it goes with it, and it don't care about your opinion or mine. Here's ED, the bull early when everything else was bearish, and now it's the weak stick. Makes a lot of sense. Here is Adobe. I'm bearish Adobe. It's caught in this channel. It makes sense that it's going to make lows at some point this year yet again. IBM, kind of the bull of the bulls, a slow creeper. Again, new highs here, and it drops 5-6 days. Makes new highs, and now we're 5-6 day break again. So again, it's telling you, if you're patient, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, call it 7 days. So 6-7 day break, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is a 6-day break now, right? So again, that's kind of the pattern. I just think you wait patiently. I'm going to assume it could knock this out even and get back to these old highs for a little longer term break on some negative news in the indexes. Here's BK, the bull, just a creeper. Fundamentally, it's probably a little overvalued, but again, I think it's a safer play for people. They must be a good bank. They're one of the oldest stocks I actually have on my stuff here, on the 17 select stocks. Procter and Gamble, kind of a chopper of choppers. Very old company, very diverse, which keeps people in there. I don't know anything about their dividend or any of that crap, but I'm assuming it should be pretty good. It's a fairly decent price stock. JPM, Diamond. I believe that's a nice bull. I was bullish on this break. Just how it, again, it usually makes new highs. It takes a while, but you don't buy the strength here. I think you still got to wait for the dip if you've missed it, right? Don't just get in there. Don't be buying calls up here, right? Now, if you got to get in, buy calls, right? But I would preferably see a break back where someplace where it's starting to look a little heavy at least. Coinbase, again, COIN, nice little break, pretty timid. This trend line I talked about, we did hit it several times, went through it. So again, this is in play. It's an average of, I believe, a $4 per day average, 4.2. So again, every day now it's to make new highs and hit that. It's quite a bit, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. Today's 5, so 5 times 4 is $20 more than this area, right? So anyway, pretty bully pattern. And the parallel you can see is support down here. Now we did go back to the old highs, which makes sense to me. If you do an average, it probably averaged out right in here in the highs. So again, we got back to that. Makes a lot of sense. Cintas, the creeper, again, had the big stock split. Then, a few weeks later, poof, broke hard. Got everybody wrapped in. 20-some% break. Pretty significant. But again, in past history, that tells me it's going to probably creep and make new highs. Like I said the whole time, do not buy new high strength. Wait for a pullback if you're going to be a buyer. So anyway, this wraps up half a year of me doing this. Not quite, a few more days. But again, it's pretty important to me to look back and understand that the options do work. I don't care if some people out there preaching anti-stock options. I don't know if they're made of gold or what. They have all kinds of money. I like the diversification that it gives. I can, in my 401k, I can buy puts and buy calls. I can play both sides of the market. Again, you can see that you've made $11,000 more by having the put portfolio part of your thing. 85,000. Now you'd have had a few less trades. Now most of these, there was a few that I had to roll in time, but most of them, if we had 75 trades, 35 of them were puts theoretically. So it's pretty much half. Now we do have on the portfolio, we got quite a decent leads on some of these, right? Meta, we have 10 grand. Nvidia, we have 3 grand. Now that's not profit banked yet, but if you decide to close her out right now, I mean, all these would be profitable. We have a few losses as well, but just a pretty good slog. We got, and these are all the call sides, and all the puts are probably at a loser except for maybe one, right? So again, it's telling you the market isn't breaking much. Now we have $52,000 worth of actual value in what we've got taken off. Put fictitiously 150 grand in there, and fictitiously we have $52,000 worth of value. You can, again, I put this out every time we have a trade, so it's pretty real. Maybe a few of the bids and offers might be a little phony. I do the best I can on guessing where it's at. But again, it gives you an idea, right? It's pretty close. So, $220, 200, if you started at 150, you'd have 220 grand in your account. So just with options. So pretty key. And you're feeling comfortable. You got half of them are puts, right? So if God forbid a 9/11 attack occurs, you'll probably make money on it. So again, it's a diverse thing, low risk, high reward, in my opinion. I don't care what people say. Options do work. Don't be afraid of them, especially when you get some of these swing traders, right? Man, some of those swing trades are pretty risky, percentage-wise, right? If you're wrong. So, but thank you. It's been a half a year. I appreciate everybody following and listening. Hopefully, if you do like this, hit the like button for me. I don't usually preach that, but because I really don't care. I'm not doing this for glory, so I'm not doing this for money. When I pass, I've been trading for 4 decades on the commodity side. Stocks now are pretty, to me, a nice venture because of their, you got thousands and thousands of stocks that you can trade at your fingertips. Commodities are only about 20. So you got definitely a diversification there that we never had. Bitcoin and all the cryptos, they're offering some other good trading avenues. Options, though, on those are still a little fuzzy. You have to open up accounts, stuff like that. Now, I think they're still viable, but you got to be a little more creative, right, to trade the options and keep the risk down, which is key. Again, to me, you got to be able to sleep at night. I have never, with option trading, I've never slept bad. I'm even, because I knew I can only lose what I put in, right? You're long the call or long the put. You sell the call to get out, and you sell the put to get out. Simple stuff. All right. Thanks, everyone. Hope you have a great rest of the half of the year that we'll have. Let's end this whole thing strong.